Shut up, go away. Yeah. It's always something in the studio, always something. Man, yeah. First of all, I think we did announce that we are going to take a little bit of a break before we get to the very last episode of the Slyso TV podcast. It's season 2 at least. So that's where we are. Okay. We had to take like sabbatical, like impromptu, like you need to control alt delete. Because if you understand my work, you will understand that March, April is a very hectic time in my line of work. So that's basically what we did. Okay. Yeah, it was impromptu. Had a great time. You're going to see all of it in the next episode. But for now, welcome to it. It is still season 2, episode 31 of the Slicer TV podcast. I was ready to let this episode go, but I was like, yo, man, there's just been so much happening in South Africa. There's just been so much happening, not only in South Africa, but in the world at large as well. Anyway, Molo, Nkosi, Nkoko Samkela, in your living room, on your phone, yeah. Wherever you've got access to the internet, you will find us there. And we're coming to you live on our YouTube channel, that is the Slicer TV podcast, and that is also the Facebook channel. It's still something that we're still contemplating if we are going to go ahead with you know, putting the podcast out on YouTube. Kuba abantu abaninzi basimamela okanye basifumana ku social media platforms, especially on Facebook. We really haven't been trying to cut people out. But ultimately, as I always say, we are going to get to a point where we like, yo, you're only gonna get us on YouTube, okay? In fact, not even YouTube. You're gonna go directly to the Slyso the Slyso website, okay, www.slyso.co.za. So you won't need all these social media platforms to go into, but you can find links to where you can watch the podcast. I know I'm talking a lot, yeah? That's because I missed you guys. But yeah, there's been a lot. Let's not waste time. God damn. God damn, this country of ours. A lot has been going on, guys. A lot has been going on. I don't even know where to start. There's some guy with who claims he earns 16,000 rand. So, monkey, it is no problem. You can give me, the 10,000 rand. I can pay 10,000. I can pay 10,000 rand. I earn 16,000. But like all kinds of figures as far as money is concerned were found when the police went on a raid, to his house right here in Pretoria. I was like, yo. It was like, hey, 50,000 rand stashed in the mattress. There was another 380,000, but the 20 was mine. So it was, yeah, you remember, you know who we're talking about, right? I think as right as we get in, man, we might as well. There are a couple of other stories that are very interesting that we should be paying attention to. But this one, we. Oh my gosh, this one we just have to pay attention to. This has got to do with the state's case, with somebody saying that the state's case is weak. Can you imagine like such sentiments? You win a lot of shares net, and you have the audacity to say, nah, there's nothing. Me, I own 16,500. You can afford to give me, like, I can't stay in Khosimampur. I can't stay in prison. Like, it went so crazy. Just in case you didn't know or you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Sergeant Nkosi, who testified in the Madlanga Commission, and all kinds of revelations came out of it. As I was saying, commenting on somebody's social media, that's very funny. He came in and tried to bring a little bit of humor and try to be extremely forgetful. And he sort of like just disrespected the whole thing, right? But those guys are there in the Madlanga Commission for a reason. Yeah, they will get the evidence out, whether they are laughing or not. Yeah, a lot of people say like, "Hey, Madlanga, no, we are shy." Sergeant Nkosi today applied for bail, and then okay, this is not gonna happen. So yeah, what's next, bruh? And then it's like, no, but hey, I'm diabetic. Then you, and they were like, in fact, let me not even answer that. Here's the answer.
I cannot find any reason, any substantial reason why I must say that he has to stay in the hospital wing. He will stay in the general population. They will ensure his safety, like they have to ensure the safety of each and every detainee in their custody. I am not going to micromanage the prison and say somebody must go here or somebody must go there. They will assess the need, they will assess the possibility, and they will make their own decision.
Now here's the part.
Right, your case is remanded until the 20th of April 2025 in this court. It is
here's the heating part.
For us to continue with your formal bail application, you'll be kept in custody until then.
You'll be kept in custody until then. All right. I'm going to let the prisons do their thing. I'm not going to micromanage and say that like you deserve to be like the hospital wing of the prisons is reserved for inmates that are really sick. So you have a condition that can be managed. I'm sure the guards can afford to give you ipilisi yako, you know, but we're not going to do that. Like now, this is very interesting. This is very interesting, and they always say everything is still alleged, right? But for criminals, I'm gonna say alleged criminals in this particular case, all right? When you do the gruesome crime, when you get involved in it, when you enjoying the gains from it, you are the happiest motherfucker on earth. You couldn't care about other people's rights. Now the ball is in your court. Hey, Andiakula, I can't. No, nigga, they want you Gadar. They want you Gadar. Okay. Yeah, that is as far as the Sergeant Nkosi saga is concerned. Man, like this guy, like, yeah, I have the story like for those people who are actually and who are definitely are going to read it. Okay. I'm gonna put it there in the ticker. Okay. They talk about the suspended accepts Sergeant Nkosi, ain't nothing funny now, has been denied bail following his appearance today. He remains in custody regarding serious charges, including the possession of unlicensed explosives. Explosives! This is a cop. Like, what the fuck are you doing with explosives? Or right now we should be linking those explosives with the fact that like there were dockets that had to do with cash in transit cases. I think they date back to like 2017 or 18. About 5 of them that were found in your house. So when you were suspended, you were supposed to like take everything that belongs to the state. And it was also stated by the spokesperson that when you hand over a case, like, you know, cases like that, either not, what's the word? When cases are not solved, right? They say that they don't stay with the investigating officer. He has to hand them over to the police station where they were opened. But when I just like that, they are like, what the fuck? Okay, but anyway, you see, so like, yeah, these are things like that work against you right now, you know. But there's a story there in the ticker. You can go through it as well. We've got so much to go through, and the only reason, like, I was like, you know, we're not gonna take this week off. We're gonna go because there's been a lot that's been happening, and it's the fact that, like, well, there has been a lot happening in South Africa, guys. Earpiece, please stay. There's just been a lot that's been happening. We have Sergeant Nkosi, so he's gonna be in jail. Stay there, not in the hospital wing of the prison. A lot of people, including myself, was like, if he is really guilty of all of this shit, they just need to take him directly to Kokstad. Yeah, do not pass the begin, go directly to jail, do not collect 200. You know, Monopoly, how we used to do this thing, right? Yeah, that's where it is. If he is guilty. So everything is still alleged, but given the weight of the evidence against him, that got him to a point where his house gets raided and such crazy evidence is being found. That's so crazy. We just move on to another saga in South Africa. And this particular one has to do with the president of the country. You will remember that for the longest time, Kwebana, yeah, according to people, she was suspended and, taken off the job because she has, all kinds of allegations. But a lot of speculators and a lot of, what do they call it? Theory people are like, no, the only reason that Umkwebana was kicked out, it was because she pointed fingers at the president with regards to the Phala Phala. And guess what? Allegedly, she did. She was like, okay, these cases and these reports have to come to all these other fears of state, right? IPED, NPA, all of these people. And the report had already been done and it was concealed for the longest time ever, concealed by Mr. Mchunu, whom we are not going to talk about right now, right? Now, when he got elevated to police minister and all of that, it was like, hey, the first thing we need to do, let's close this thing. Hey, nobody's going to talk about Phala Phala. Nigga, you talking about somebody who's got like crazy cash. You president, crazy cash in his Phala Phala farm. Okay, so investigations ensued, and a lot of speculation was there. But when the report came out, oh my gosh, was it damning or not? I'm just going to read this. I'm probably hardly going to look at the screen because, God, I mean, there's just so much as far as it's concerned, guys. I even put up like a summarized a version of the story from iol.co.za, which is our source of news, of choice. So they say that the Phala Phala scandal, right? They say that President Cyril Ramaphosa and former head of the Presidential Protection Unit, PPU, Major General Wale Road, if you're Afrikaans, it will probably a rode. But anyway, I have been accused of contravening the Criminal Protection Procedure Act by failing to report the theft at Phala Phala Farm to the local police station. Now, you will remember what ensued after that, right? There's a crime committed at the president's house. The next thing to do is for the president to go to the police station together with the head of the PPU and say, this is what has happened. They stole money. Where was this money? Like the whole thing like happens, So they don't do that. So they get other people involved. And Wally over here has been implicated in a lot because they did not take the case to SAPS. They elected to, according to this report now that has come out. This shit has been like we could have known about this like a long time ago, and it probably could have been impinged or whatever, and the case would have been like right now could have been serving his time or whatever, both of them like, hey, Mchana, hey, yeah, hey, the money under the mattress. Hey, didn't you hide another one in the? Yes, this is thing. Not just Sophie car should have been in the mattresses as well, so that when we come out now, this would be a conversation between Cyril Ramaphosa and Mr. Wally Road over here. But anyway, what they did and what was found and what was in the IPED report that was suppressed for so long, that has been made public, it is that like, whoa, these guys fronted a whole lot of shit, man. I'm just gonna read it for you, okay? I'm just going to read it for you. So they contravened the Criminal Procedure Act by failing to report a theft at Phala Phala Farm to the local police station. Internal law professor Andre Thomas Hausen, said both the president and the head of the PPU could have opened a criminal case at a local police station, allowing police to perform their duties as normal. PPU on the road abused state resources. This is what the report is saying, yo, and it invoked Ramaphosa's name to shield their unauthorized, unlawful investigation into the 2020 theft at the Phala Phala farm. Now, it identified misuse of state resources, including vehicles, flights. There was one flight, I think, well, from to Cape Town. I think one to Namibia. Like, guys, like all of these, they are. I don't know. Maybe they were saying that like they're above board, or like, yo, this is the president. Like, just book the flight. So all of this was flaunting in territory in South Africa. Okay, so it identified the misuse of state resources, including vehicles, flights, and accommodation for what was treated as a private matter. You remember the private matter, we report to the police, blah, blah, blah. Now, travel documents were allegedly falsified. Of course, they're going to falsify them and not give the real reason for them to misuse cars, to misuse accommodation, to misuse flights, and all of that shit without tax. Fucking money. This is what pisses me off. This is what people don't understand when I blow my top off. It is not like if you were using your money sharp, you earned it sharp. You're using my fucking money. You're using my state resources. I don't have police in my area because they're busy covering up for fucking Phala Phala. You see the kind of thing that, like, makes my blood boil. Gets my blood boiling. So yeah, so these are the stuff that's been in the report. In the report. So everything is out in the open and all kinds of speculations. And obviously, this particular story centers around what the international law professor Andre Thomas Hausen said, saying that both men have a case to answer. Now you're gonna ask yourself, remember from Zuma and everybody else. It's like, yeah, how do you charge a sitting president? I'm not a what do you call it, a law expert, but cases are going on as far as Donald Trump is concerned as we speak, right? And the thing is, like, why? And I still ask, and I've asked it before. Why is it that Cyril Ramaphosa did not take the country into his confidence when he believed and knew that there was no wrongdoing in being found with like fucking copious amounts of dollars in your sofa, right? They were from a sale. They went as far as SARS as well. And it's like, yeah, we see some documents, but they are incomplete and all kinds of stuff. Why didn't you take the, like, if it was legit, why didn't you take the country into your confidence? So we're going to sit here and put you in the pan. And guess, like it's happening in 2026, you guys are supposed to be chasing like your political party, local elections. And there's this thing that's hanging over your head. Same as Marika. Yeah, you know what I was going to say. Let's move on. But this is as far as like, that's the country that we live in. That's the country that we live in. We move on, guys. Another one that is also been a sore point for me. I remember it was a very long time ago. Now, Benten, but not Jordan. I think Umama would be Drud was still alive, still minister at the time. I was booked with a guy called Ukamagu, who's a musician. We went to the Santa, Santa in Bethelsdorp. Oh, that's where my mom used to work. South African National Tuberculosis Association hospitals, right? You remember those? Like now, the Life is a Dimeni incident reminds me, it takes me back to the trauma that I saw during the MDR campaigns where we went with the minister to the South African National Tuberculosis Association hospital and saw people who were doing an awareness. Obviously, they're going to get us Slysos, who's relatable, can talk to the people, try to please take your meds and stuff. So when I look at Life as a Dimeni, I look at something similar. My dad's before he passed on spent some time in an old age home. Spent a time at I forget what that fancy thing hospice. So that has always been like when I look at the Life as a Dimeni, like 141 people like perished just like that because the people flaunted procedure and they decided to like dispatch people to different homes that were not registered, some where they just didn't get care and they died because somebody was responsible for making sure that these people get sent to places where they're gonna find care. So it's one of those. It touches me like that. I'm a bit emotional, right? This time around, but it's a sad one. But here's where I received a bit of good news.
At the moment, we are not in a position to indicate how many people, because we need to give them the respect of having to be served with the charges. All that we can say is, out of all the processes that we've gone through, we are in the process where we have identified all the people that needed to be prosecuted based on all the information before us and all the legal processes that we had to undergo, and we are ready to now prosecute them, and we will then make a formal announcement on who are the people and when they are charged and then when they will appear in court.
Hey, Kaiser Kanyaho, it's a good thing you left the SAPC. You're doing some great work, sir. You're doing some great work. Yeah, you're only the spokesperson, but yo, man, the things that you keep uncovering. And I like, I don't know, maybe it's like your communication training. The way you say it, it's like, yeah, we're not going to arrest people. We're just looking for this. We're going to find this. And then if people don't come forward, then we're going to do this. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, okay. If you need a communications expert, like, for your company, yeah, you can give him a side gig, but I'm sure he's not allowed to do that. There's the head of, he's a spokesperson for the National Prosecuting Authority, which will prosecute individuals implicated in the deaths of patients at Life Esidimeni. At least 141 psychiatric patients died between 2015 and 2016. Now, the NPA spokesperson, Kaiser Kanyaho, says an announcement will be made soon. But as you said on the video, will be made detailing those involved. You will remember, some of these people were health ministers, some of these people were MECs, some of these people were high-ranking, arrogant ass. That, if you remember the commission that was set up to investigate and how nonchalant they came in there, the people who were supposed to be, oh my gosh, yeah, like I didn't think this episode is gonna make me this way. Okay, so we're just gonna move on to another story, man. We're just gonna leave the South African shores for now and go check out what's been happening and the thing. You will know that the Pope, Roman numerals like Nanmungu with maths. So I'm not sure whether he's the Pope is the 14th. Yeah, I think it's the 14th. 14th or 16th. I'm not sure. There's a when XIV. Then the V follows on the other side. So yeah, the current Pope has just started his tour of Africa against the sentiments of people like Donald Trump, right? And he's come out scathing, talking shit once again. This guy on his Truth Social. I actually want to investigate and find out how many people are on Truth Social. And how the following has been, given all the declining ass nonsense that he's been instigating, right? For his own platform, for his own selfishness. But yeah, we understand that like there was a 2-week ceasefire, okay, in the war in the Middle East, Iran, Israel, arrogant Israel. Or like immediately after the announcement that like, yeah, we're going to have a 2-week ceasefire. And Israel was like, yeah, we're not going to stop. We're going to bomb Lebanon. And it was included in the ceasefire, in the conditions, the 10 points coming from Iran. And this guy said, what's his name? I don't even forget him. Israel. Netanyahu. Yeah, something like that, So this guy goes and bombs like thingy. And I'm like, yo, man, this is a nail in Donald Trump's presidency. And then he was like, yeah, we're going to go back and have negotiations. We need the Strait of Hormuz opened. We want other people to help us. That was the thing. It was like we want other countries to help us because we all suffering from this. And we're sitting here in South Africa, we're like, fuck you, nigga, we ain't suffering for shit. Iran is letting our ships, pick up oil, take it for processing and all of that shit. Like, we had to get it to the country. Even though we are suffering, we have a story as far as that is concerned as well, but a little bit later on. But what I found was how other leaders are defying Donald Trump. The very same guy who did this, by the way, the lead story about the Pope, he posted this on his socials. Like, guys, how crass can you be? How crass can you be? You ran to Nigeria to say that like you want to save Christians, if these guys don't comply, blah blah blah, and all of that nonsense. And this is you. Okay, Jesus, Trump, Jesus. Wow, very crazy. But yeah, you can read the story, guys. Like it's in the ticker. But what was very interesting for me were countries that came out and said, like, listen, we're not gonna follow your shit. Spain was like, yo. Right now, it's like, yo. In fact, you saying what? Okay, you're gonna impose tariffs. You're gonna exclude us. You're gonna okay. The president of like he was in China like yesterday, and not only that happened because now with the whole ceasefire, his people went back to Pakistan, which is where the negotiations are being held. Stupid fly! Oh my gosh! In the middle of a podcast. See, that's why I keep it doomed here. Anyway, well, free advertising for you, doom nonsense. But anyway, so the negotiations are in Pakistan, right? And he keeps sending Rubio and all of these delegations, like, go negotiate. Tell them to open the Strait of Hormuz. We needed the oil. It's affecting us globally. Come back, and Iran is like, nigga, you just gonna comply to what we're saying. We have a 10-point ceasefire negotiation shit that's going on. And they defined it didn't work out. So let alone leave the Spanish prime minister, president.
Example, with our new Buy Canadian policy, when the federal government spends, we will select Canadian suppliers by default. The days of our military sending 70 cents of every dollars to the United States are over. We are going to build Canada strong with Canada Steel, Canadian aluminum, Canadian lumber, Canadian workers. At this decisive moment, Canadians are demonstrating just how strong we are. You know, it started quietly. People choosing a wine from the Okanagan over one from California. Anyone had any bourbon recently? No, I don't think so. No. Sorry.
Bourbon is American, right? Your Jack Daniels and all of those people. I'm giving people free advertising now. Like your bourbon is American. Like so, he's talking about how this whole thing started with this whole we're gonna impose tariffs on your wine. We're not gonna buy your wine. We're not gonna send you wine. We're not gonna and Mark over here is like, yo, nigga, we don't care. We're gonna drink our own stuff, right? You think it's poison?
Sorry. A family planning a vacation to Prince Edward Island instead of booking flights to Florida. We are on track. We are on track to double our non-U.S. exports over the next decade. That is $300 billion.
I swear Mark Carney is my guy, man. Like, you will remember how bold he was. He was one of the first leaders of a country to tell Trump to go fly. And you must remember that with the whole military thing, with the US military being everywhere, there is some form of tax that the government pays to make sure that these motherfuckers are on our shores and they are spying on us. They are ready to go on war with us whenever they feel like it, which is what they did to Iran. And Iran was like, yo, you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna fight you. We're just gonna bomb your launchers in the ocean. We're just gonna bomb your bases and all of that to incapacitate you. Okay, because yeah, you've got expensive stuff, military complex. Okay, these expensive things, and they built like 20,000 rand missiles to counter that shit. And rumored to be supported or backed by Russia and China, Iran, that is, as far as intelligence is concerned, and also the technology they use for communication. Iran knew about it, so they're like, "Pow." So that's why it's so difficult for America to fight this war. Now he said that like they're gonna close the Strait of Hormuz. And no ships are gonna go out unless it is said by the United States of America. Like, what the fuck you go to another country and like you're gonna like really? You don't see how much you're losing? It came out. You're already sitting at $1 trillion as far as this short war of taking over and just bombing Iran and taking over and opening and like, apparently, the latest is that he's asking for another 500 million US dollars to continue fighting this fight. Now, with all of these new things that he's coming up with, the craziest thing about it is that he needs boots on the ground. They don't know the terrain in Iran. He like US soldiers like are almost like are defying him and on a daily basis on social media platforms and say like, why the fuck are we fighting this war? We were not even supposed to be there. Why are we sending our sons and daughters to go fight for your stupidity, Mr. Jesus Trump? Crazy. So he threatened that he's going to close a blockade. That's the word. He's going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. And he's going to do this with other countries. And other countries were like, yo, fuck, nigga, you on your own. And one of those countries that said, like, you on your own was the United Kingdom, which is bleeding, Shem. Hey, those guys are bleeding. They don't have protection or anything. They're being taxed to death. And the latest thing that I've learned is that even when you die, that's how much they tax you in the UK. Even when you die, government, from the money that you saved for your freaking kids, they take 49%. 49% of your estate. That's how much they tax it. Your money. You worked hard for it. Not that it's okay here in South Africa as well. It's about, I think, 20%, right? This is after you're dead. You were saving money for your kids. The government still taxes you while you're 6 feet under. Yeah, but like, yeah, that's the UK story. So apparently people have been leaving the UK because of that shit, like, especially like rich people. And that includes like about 200 billionaires. Billionaires. I was like, fuck the UK. Your tax shit, like, no, can't be like that. But anyway, this is what they've done, which is I commend, along with our guy there from France. Okay, now put the story right there. Okay, UK to work on peaceful mission for Hormuz as US blockade looms. France and Britain will work on a peaceful multinational mission. So they say they're going to call this meeting of nations that are like-minded. They are not trying to go the war route. They are trying to have nations that have interest in the state in the Strait of Hormuz to sit around the table and try to find peaceful ways of making sure that they get their shit out, they get their oil out. I think that's commendable, but like it starts from the whole thing that like countries that were seen or supposed to be United States of America's allies are showing him the middle finger. These Jesus ass wanna be. But anyway, that's what's happening. Coming back home, here's another one that's very interesting for me. Right, just the other day, we're gonna send soldiers, eh? And the soldiers are gonna go and help in places like Eldorado Park, where there's gang violence. They're gonna be in the Cape Flats. You've seen videos of people mocking the very same soldiers in their presence, and I'm like thinking, like back in the day, man, like in apartheid days, like you wouldn't dare look at a soldier; he'll kick your ass. And these guys are just sitting there in the Cape Flats and they mocking the soldiers who are supposed to be patrolling and all of this stuff. And I ask again as a taxpayer, should my money be spent on getting the South African National Defence Force out there to assist SAPs and other organizations, the law enforcement agencies to keep peace? Coming just from this weekend, 50 people have been unalived in the Cape Flats with the presence of the South African National Defence Force. Like, guys, CP, those people like always ask like CP. Yeah, CP. Now we're going to get the soldiers. We are ready. I remember the deputy minister, I was like, now we're ready. The minute the president say, hey, we're going to get... Now, but have you seen any difference in the crime? Have you seen the shootout that happened in Mhlanga, Gateway Mall? Have you seen what happened in Joburg? Have you seen what has happened in Brazen criminality, with the president having announced that like the soldiers going to be on the ground? People are not scared. Ask yourself why. That's your tax money again, my people. Promise you. Now, I'm going to end off with this story. Like it's almost like I'm on a warpath of some sort. But it's just topical stuff. I'm not going to go and talk about those people who lied and said that they're going to the moon in the 1970s or whenever the hell that thing happened. I liked, oh man, I should have had your video, Samantha Campbell, my friend. Okay. Michelle, Mish was like, yo, if you follow me, you're my friend, and you believe that 4 people got in a can and they went to the moon, unfollow me like right now. Now, these are the very same people who said that, like, we managed to go to the moon, to land on the moon. We put up like an American flag, the Louis Armstrong, I think. We put up a flag and stuff. And immediately after that, now the media is down and is waiting. It's like, hey, guys, the footage was lost, by the way. The very same footage of the same people that went to the freaking moon, it got lost. They never found it again. And they have not really gone to the moon ever since. I think the only other people who've been trying are Russia. Right? It's like, by now, in 2026, if these guys went so far back, we should be able to go and land on the moon. And so I'm like, yo, yan lach, sharp sana. Uber or yan. But anyway, that's all that bullshit, man. Like, so they coming up. Like, if you ask me, this is the stupid propaganda that the American government will always toss at people. They will find some monumental, historical, sensational shit that happened, and then they would put it out there. Now we're trying again. You have not gone. You lost the footage, and you had to reshoot the thing, reenact the landing on the freaking moon. And when people ask, why haven't you gone? You're like, nah, the technology, hey, we can't replicate that technology. Come on. It's 2026. Do you know how advanced technology is right now? But anyway, yeah, I was one of those stories like in passing. I was like, Donald Trump song. Now, another thing that has been happening in the Eastern Cape, it has been the Eziko. Like, I swear, where the fuck would you come from Nigeria and your surname is Eziko? Like, somebody please grab a phone book. Yes, in Nigeria, I'm sure they still use phone books and they still have them. And find and Google if there are other Nigerians called or surnames is Eziko. Yeah, that guy who did the Igbo and then he had to apologize, which is bullshit if you ask me, because he should have been out of the country already. And what I want to draw your attention to, it's election year. It's probably going to come out as like some electioneering, right? I live in the Tshwane like area. We've got a doctor. Nasipi Moya as a mayor. She's made headlines a lot about around making sure that like she roots out the illegalities, the illegal immigrants, the brothels, all the ills that are in our society. And I ask myself, in any other motherfucking metro in South Africa, what have other mayors done? Yeah, we understand there was a MMC, so shout out to you, EFF. Even though you removed the guy who was busy like cleaning up, Joburg, right? Being responsible. Man, where's that guy's name? I forget his name now. But yeah, they got him out there because it's like, you're not doing this thing. Now, this is what happened in the Eastern Cape, right? We all remember, and the people then said they're going to have their own march. They're going to go to California being like a place, like a drug den and blah, 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 and all kinds of stuff. And came some other leaders that said like, yo, we've facilitated and made sure that we are able to hold this march and blah, blah, blah. There was a little bit of like infighting there or disagreements. But the march proceeded. And then came the Deputy Minister of the South African Police Service, together with the mayor of Buffalo City, saying that, yeah, we're going to have a march. Why didn't you join the first march in the first place? Oh, okay, because maybe the memorandum of the thingy was being, of grievances was being handed over to you. I heard her where she explains like, yeah, they said they're going to drop it off there. And then they dropped it off like in another place. So the mayor had to run. Okay, now let's go to like thingy. So you want to have your own thing, right? You say together, with the Deputy Minister of the South African Police Services, you as a mayor, you are going to have another march. And then in the week that the march is supposed to take place, you're like, guys, you know what? Let's just talk like civilized people about this shit. Like, we don't need to march, we'll just organize, get some vendors who are on the database to quickly put up speakers, put up like a stage, put up like banners, put up all of these things, and let's have a conversation. The fuck you having a conversation for, sister? The hell you having a conversation for? You should be on the ground. You should be like, I want to play that video of yours like that where you like before I play Nasipi's one.
It can be possible that officials, we have seen in the Madlanga Commission, so there's no way we can defend anyone at this stage. I have requested a report from the city manager because if you look at these buildings, some of them are not even in a...
This is the shit. You don't do work. You keep saying like, I need to follow up with the city manager. I need to speak to Brigadier so-and-so. I need to like make sure that the city manager is knowledgeable of these buildings and go to public works and all of this. You keep talking. That's why people from KZN said, fuck y'all, march and march. We're going to come and support our closer brothers and sisters. You keep talking. You keep talking. Yep. We need to speak to so-and-so. You can do that.
I'm not even in a good condition for people to operate businesses. We want the Department of Special Planning, especially the unit of properties and leases in the city, to give us who authorize people to stay or trade in these properties that are not in a good condition.
Guys, you can call me a person on Gelo Tandazo, Tanda province. You can't keep fucking talking. You cannot as well deliberately not act on things that are happening, that people are feeling the pinch. South Africans have been enduring this nonsense forever. I went to a town in the rural former Transkei, I'm not going to mention. 99.9%, and the small percentage is big business and a few South African owned business. The entire fucking town is, the shops belong to foreigners. You ask yourself, you sit, I like you as a person. I was trying to follow you as a minister, the minister of small businesses. I saw you going on and talking. You need at least 500,000, no, 500 million or some shit like that, 5 million, you know, in order for you to come and do business. And like, where the fuck you gonna get 5 million if you cutting hair? You like, there you have a business that should be closed. That government, customs, home affairs, and whoever else should be there and saying, let's close this thing. It's not working, Buffet. Back to your country. Go fix your country. Nigeria will buy oil from you. So you are rich. And you're still sitting there. It's like, no, so now we need to take, numbers of people who are here illegally, and we need to make sure that the people from Home Affairs, they know exactly what to do, and this one must go there, and like, no, guys. I made this prediction on the 1st of January when people make those, I don't know what they call those things people make at the beginning of the year. I said 2026 is going to be the year that South Africans are going to freaking take their country back. And I'm glad that it is still happening and it's not violent. Yes, there have been cases here and there, because the message is going to the African National Congress. The message is going to municipalities. The message is going to the officials who are hired at the border, who are hired at the Home Affairs, who enabled and gave fake documents to people. I was like, no, let's go to South Africa. I know some guy there that is going to help us with all of this stuff. No, do not stress. I know him. Hello, Mandande. This is Mandande. Yeah, we want the papers. For fucking 3,000 rand. Some of you get paid like 500 rand. We can blame the illegal immigrants all we like. At the end of the day, it's a South African fucking official employed by government that allows people to come into this country illegally. Anyway, let me calm my ass down. Cheap. Now, you might be wondering, like, I'm really not trying to be on some stupid ass, like, this one is better than the other one. When you are employed, do your freaking job. That is all. That is all. You can come in at exactly 8 o'clock and leave at exactly 4 o'clock and not do any extra work. Just do what you are put there to do. Here's the difference.
This afternoon we're at Oliven police station with Brigadier Mbuna. There has been a drug bust, yet another drug bust that has been done by the TNPD drug unit. This time it's a 22-year-old Nigerian that has been found with a mixture of cocaine, mendrags, and other drugs. And this person was found because the drug unit has been working on this case. They found them here, but they stay in Joburg. The past few weeks I've been showcasing people of Tshwane that we also have a drug unit in the city of Tshwane. But we're not only showcasing the problem, but we're also showcasing the efforts of the officers in the TNPD drug unit, the people who work under very dangerous circumstances. But they have made a commitment that we're going to cleanse the city of Tshwane of drugs, that they're not going to be stopped by any.
Be on the ground. Be on the ground. Do your job. Is it going to take your kid or your relative dying from drugs before you can we need to do something about it? This is where the difference is between the two provinces. I'm not even going to go political about it, about what political party the other one comes from and what other political party the other one comes from. The only thing I'm trying to highlight is that you are entrusted. That is why you are a mayor. You are the first citizen of that city that you preside over. Everything that happens there is on you and the team of people that get paid handsomely well to make sure that people get water, that people don't have burst pipes, that people have jobs, that people get like health care, that people are protected. That is all you are asked to freaking do. Anyway, let me end this episode because really I thought I would be, I would have come down by now. Unfortunately not. Next week, we're going to have the final season 2 episode. I shot some very beautiful content for you in my sabbatical, okay? So we will have that, and hopefully my team will join me in making sure that we sign off. And by the way, there's going to be merchandise and all kinds of stuff that you guys might be getting if you happen to watch next week Monday. Now with that, I want to say thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Let's be the best of friends again next week on Monday. Please, your input is very important to us. Please like and follow us on TikTok. We want to avail the podcast on TikTok as well because everybody's on TikTok. So we just need about 1,000 or something people. So make sure that you follow us there. With that, thank you so much. Have yourself a beautiful week. Do what I did, go into the bathroom, go to gym, and just all this energy that you've been collecting this entire weekend and past week, and say to yourself that tomorrow is Tuesday, like I always used to say on radio. Tuesday is the day you choose whether you're going to have a good week or a bad week. I hope you choose a good week, and please do have one. One love.